Hi everyone, so as you know, I do relationship tips every Wednesday, and this is something which it's not something that's dissimilar to what I've talked about before. In fact, this is something which I've focused on quite a lot as a couples counsellor, also as an individual counsellor. So what I want to talk about is you can't change the other person, but you can focus on what's in your control in a relationship. And I want to break it down a little bit more. I'm not going to go like too long with this because it's pretty self-explanatory. The amount of times when I'm on social media in particular and I'm seeing posts or discussions where everyone in the comments is saying, oh, I want this, I've been in this relationship for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and I've been trying to get him to listen, or I've been trying to get her to understand me, or I've been trying to do this and I've been trying to do this. And what comes out for me when I'm looking at these comments is it's always the same thing. It's always the person saying they want the other person to change. They're trying to get the other person to change. They're then feeling frustrated, but they're not taking action to like leave the situation, and they're not taking action to say, well, okay, if I've told this person 50 times that I need them to listen more, if I've told this person 100 times these are what my needs are, and they still haven't taken action or they haven't changed, what is that telling you? So as human beings, I just think sometimes we either need to be logical as well as emotional, but also we need to look at evidence versus what we think or feel is going on. Evidence is through behavior. So if someone wants to change their behavior, it has nothing to do with another person, it has to do with them. So most people will change their behavior if there's going to be a major consequence. If they don't, say they're going to lose their job if they keep turning up late, majority of people will say, do you know what, I can't lose my job, so they'll stop. If the doctor says to someone, if you have another drink, then you're going to die, the majority of people will stop drinking or find another way because they want to be alive. Not everyone can still do that. The addiction is too strong. So in a relationship, if you're constantly telling the other person what you want them to do or you want them to change, they know, they get it, they understand it, but they just don't want to do it. And unfortunately, people don't want to accept that reality that you've told someone something, you've asked for what you need, they're not interested in changing that. They don't see any reason to do that. There's not enough incentive. There's not enough. They know that you're not going to do anything anyway because you've been talking about it for the last 10 years. You haven't left yet. So that person is thinking, well, she's not going to do anything about it, so I don't have to listen. So what we need to start doing is, instead of trying to get the other person to change, instead of constantly wasting your breath talking about something again and again and again, it's good to communicate, but if you've communicated the same thing again and again and nothing's changed, you then have to put it back to you. Not that you're to blame, not that you're responsible, but back to you. What is it that you actually want? If this relationship continues in the same way, can you accept it? Is it that you've said this enough, so now you've recognised this person is never going to change, so now you've decided, okay, that means I have to leave. The biggest fear for lots of people is they don't want to leave the relationship because they think they're going to regret it afterwards. They think, if I leave too soon, maybe I could have stayed, maybe I could have tried. And it all comes down to self-esteem, self-love, and just having boundaries. You know, if you've tried and you've said to someone, this is what I need in this relationship, if you said, I need you to change A, B, and C because it's impacting on the relationship, it's hurting me, and that person hasn't done that, that's giving you a message. That is saying that this person doesn't care enough to do it. This person understands what you're saying, but they just don't want to do it. This person isn't ready to do it. So then it has to be back to you to say, well, am I going to accept this? Or am I making a decision now to walk away for my self-esteem, to walk away so that I can let that person then make their own decision in their next relationship, or if they're single, of what they want to do. So yeah, the bottom line is we can't change another person, and we can't drag them screaming into doing something different that they don't want to do. So if you then put it back to you, it empowers you. It means you've got all the power because you can then decide, instead of you then being constantly frustrated, constantly miserable with the situation, feel like you're nagging the person. You don't have to do any of that. You can just say, well, this is what I've decided. I've decided this for the good of me, and hopefully this other person that has been in my life will then make a decision best for them. So please let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.